Hello, my name is Nancy Ellen Dodd, and I am the author of The Writer's Compass, From Story Map to Finished Draft in 7 Stages. I've been studying writing for about 25 years. I've had thousands of hours of seminars and lectures and workshops, and 2 graduate degrees in writing, one in professional writing, which covers all formats of writing, and the other one in playwriting. And while I was studying writing, I was sitting in a class, in a graduate class, and a light bulb went off. And I realized all these years, everything I've been studying, all these authors were saying the same thing. They were just using different terminology. And the instructor was using Aristotle's 3-act structure and Freytag's pyramid to outline some of the essential elements of writing. And so what I did was I took that 3-act structure and I placed on it all the elements I could remember over all the years of writing. And I started looking at it and I thought, if I could figure this out and if I could write and make sure each one of these elements were included, I could figure out how to come up with a perfect story. But what I found out was that most of these elements were redundant, that actually these authors and instructors were all saying the same thing. They just had their own way of saying it. So I started eliminating what I didn't think really needed to be there. And I found that some things were essential to good storytelling, and some things were the author's choice for what they wanted to use, and some things were just repetitive. So I narrowed it down to the things I thought were key. And then I thought, what if I placed my ideas, and I don't think I'm the first person to think of this, and instead of the element, I wrote my idea on the story map. So the second part of that was about 15 years ago. I put together my ideas so far and the insights, and I put together a book called Following Through. And it was a workbook where I would remind myself of all the pertinent questions you should ask yourself and different ideas for graphs and charts and characterization. And I put that all together, and I was actually selling a few copies on Amazon.com and in workshops I'd teach. I thought, how can I reorganize all these questions into stages so that we don't waste so much time? So if you spend 2 hours polishing the perfect sentence, and then later you find out that sentence didn't belong in the story or it didn't belong where you had it, you've wasted a lot of effort. But if you work on the structure first and you make sure your story is outlined the way it should be, and that your story map's strong, your story is falling structurally into place, your characterizations are built and developed, then when you go and polish, now it's worthwhile. So one of the reasons I wrote this book and did all this work was not for other writers, it was for myself, to teach myself how to be a better writer. I'm not a writing genius as much as I wanted to be. I'm not an innate writer. I really had to learn all the writing skills. It didn't come naturally to me. I could tell stories, but telling stories and writing them are a little bit different. If you ask me what the main focus of this book is, I would say, one, it's to help writers, to inspire writers, and to help you understand what it takes to write. But more importantly, it's called The Writer's Compass because the point of the book is to help you find your compass in your story. And so we spend a lot of time talking about your theme and what you really want to say, and how to know when what you want to say overrides other people's critiques, and to be able to differentiate when critiques are helping you or hurting you. Because I think the key is, in the end, being able to say what you want to say in a story is far more important than listening to all these critiques. These are tools and techniques. They're not saying change your writing process. It's tools you can add to strengthen your writing process. So if you just go through and read the book, you'll learn something. There are lots of exercises and questions in the book. If you go through the book and you do some of the exercises and answer some of the questions, your writing skill will improve. If you go through the book seriously as a student would through a textbook and apply all the your ideas to the exercises and answer all the questions for your stories, you'll find that your level of writing will grow. I don't really have any rules for writing, but if I did have any rules, I'd have two, and one of them would be is if you want to be a writer, you have to write and keep writing. And the other one would be never cut anything from your writing that you feel in your gut should be there. I don't care how bad it is. You've probably had the experience where someone told you something wasn't very good and you should cut it, and you did, and you lost interest in the story. Well, that bit of bad writing may be the heart of something really important you're trying to say. So you need to stick with it and keep working on it until you figure out what's important to you about that writing. And I've seen people work on that until it actually became some of the best part of their writing. So never cut something just because somebody else tells you it doesn't need to be in there. Always go with your gut instinct. And that's part of what the Writer's Compass is all about, helping you to develop your gut instinct so that you have a compass for your stories and know where you want them to go and how to get there. Thank you.